So what you have is the TV. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. You have the TV pushing down on the jacket, pushing the patches onto the fabric, and hopefully the glue is now curing, and it's making it really stick to the fabric itself. And hopefully everything will work out well. And you have a box and some water here, and you'll see what that box used to hold later on. Another problem that we have down there is the cold, and batteries do not last very long in the cold, so I usually open up a couple hand warmers and either wrap them in socks with like the battery wrapped in the sock with a hand warmer to keep them warm. It really helps when they're charging to do that too. But I've had a lot of problems getting down here. My first flight was from Pittsburgh. I was in Pittsburgh for a wedding, and then I went from Pittsburgh to Chicago, Chicago to Miami. And in Miami, we were actually delayed for a couple hours, and the flight was canceled, which really sucked. But at least it gave them some time to put the luggage from the, hey, somebody sent me a message. Somebody loves me. To take the luggage from the first plane to the second plane. But the problem was when I flew from Miami down to Santiago, they lost my luggage. They don't know where it went. I called American Airlines, and they said, well, the last tracking that we have is down in Santiago, and that's where the trail ends. So I'm like, shit, what do? I get down here to Punta Arenas. Actually, I landed in Santiago, and I think 100 people or more lost their luggage. So the queue to fill out the paperwork to get your lost luggage was 100 people long, and my flight was leaving in an hour and a half. There's no way I was going to go through customs, collect my luggage, do all of this stuff, and catch my next flight. The next flight was not until midnight. This was like 2 p.m. So I ran to the next flight, got on that flight, and I filled out the paperwork when I got to Punta Arenas. So I got to Punta Arenas. They had no idea where it was. Filled out all the paperwork. I was here for 1, 2, 3 days, and it finally showed up last night. I was laying in bed right there, minus all that crap. So I was laying in bed, and the phone rings at like midnight, right? And I'm like, who the frick is calling me at midnight? I'm like, ooh, it's my luggage. So I picked it up, and I was like, hello, hello. And like, hola, senor. And they said that my luggage was here. And I was like, that's awesome, I'll be down. And then I stayed up until about 1 or 2 last night because they were going to do a gear check with me, just going through stuff. Actually, no, take that back. They weren't going to do a gear check. They were going to grab all my stuff and put it on the plane as like checked luggage. So they do that the day before. And then we went to the debriefing earlier today, and we were learning how things were handled down in Antarctica. And it's not like a country, but there are like, I think 12 or 19 different countries who have a say in what goes on. They formed this treaty. And you're not allowed to bring any dirt, any perishable foods, none of that stuff, so they want to keep it pristine. And we have to make sure there's no dirt in our luggage, so the luggage has to be either swept out, vacuumed, whatever, or new. And it was odd because we're sitting there watching the stuff on the screen, and I'm thinking to myself, I've been there before. I've been down to Antarctica before, but so much has changed, the past 5 or 6 years that I'm thinking it's going to be pretty cushy. It's like it's not any 4 seasons by any means, but it's going to be pretty, pretty. It's going to be pretty nice getting down there, and it's going to be pretty warm, relatively speaking. It's going to be comfortable. But we're supposed to fly out tomorrow morning. I don't think that's going to happen because we're looking at the weather. The weather looks okay, but the winds look a little high. We can only land in 35-mile-an-hour knots. 35-mile-an-hour knots, 35 knot winds. So hopefully that clears down a little bit tonight and we can take off. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm just happy my luggage got here and I can still count to 21, hopefully when I get home. See you.